find some other news stories that may be of interest to you. We'll check over at the Drudge Report. They're always kind of interesting. See if they have anything that's new and different on the national scene, or if it's the local scene. You know, you follow all of this stuff too. If you want to talk about anything, we can do so. I can remember when I first went on the air. If there was like something in the paper or some local news story, it would be like topic number one on the hotline that day or the next day. And nowadays, people are more oblivious to all of it, or they just don't care, or whatever it is. It's a different news world out there. Good afternoon, hotline.
Good afternoon. This is Brian McGrath calling in.
Oh, candidate McGrath. How are you?
Good. How are you, Mayor?
Good. Good to have candidates calling into America's favorite noontime talk show.
Well, of course. Couldn't miss it.
So what's the latest on you? Are you on the ballot, off the ballot?
Well, I'm calling to talk about the Clinton wedding, actually.
Oh, okay. Were you there?
No. In terms of the petitions, they're before the courts. Ken and his Albany people took them before the courts. There were very brief hearings yesterday with everything being deferred until the Board of Elections meets on Thursday to take their next actions, which we anticipate to be what they've already done in their hearings with me, which was to validate both sets of petitions. So we're waiting on the final courts to play out and look forward to a very spirited race in November.
So the Board of Elections will validate them, but of course they can still be contested in state Supreme Court. But obviously, if the BOE didn't validate them, that'd be the end of it, right?
That would complicate things. It wouldn't be the end of it. There still would be the court actions.
But isn't the Board of Elections like a stacked deck? There's like two from each party, so everything's a tie?
Well, there are two from each party, but in that system, we won before the hearing officer, which was based on the report of people from both sides, and we're expecting that hearing will be upheld by the full board when they meet. We have no reason to think that there's any good reason for them to change their decision, and then the courts will get those results. And
now, when are they going to rule? How long can they drag this out for?
We expect rulings somewhere by this Friday. We don't expect them to drag this out. We expect that we're going to be in the clear by Friday. That's certainly what we're hoping for. And in the meantime,
So this has been a distraction and a deviation from message, I guess, for you, right?
I wouldn't call it either, actually. I'm not in Albany for these hearings or these court appearances. I have very short phone calls with the lawyers who are representing me down there. But I'm plugging forward with my message. Yesterday we got out our announcement on our 4 county committee chairs for the campaign. We're moving forward with meeting voters, and we're staying on message. As far as we're concerned, the voters will have a choice in November, as they should, and I'm going to continue to make my case that I'm the best choice for them.
So do you think Ms. Skozafava's backing of you will help you or not?
Well, first of all, I'm not going to speak for her in terms of her backing or not. I certainly appreciate the support of any voter in the 122nd District, and she does live in the 122nd District, just as I'd appreciate any of Mr. Blankenbush's neighbors supporting me. Every supporter counts, every vote counts, and certainly it's always better to have friends supporting you. The more, the merrier.
Yeah. I saw a Blankenbush sign in my neighborhood.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. That's democracy. Listen, there's his signs are in some places. My signs are all over the 4 counties. That's part of the process. Some people will put up his. Hopefully more people will put up mine. And in any event...
So I guess it means the city is in play for the 122nd, even though we're not in the 122nd.
Well, you'd have to ask him in terms of how he's utilizing his resources. We're focusing on people who live in the 122nd District. If a few of my signs find their way into the city, we have no problem with that. But certainly my door-to-door effort and the campaigns are in the town of Watertown, not in the city, given how the district's mapped out.
Right. Now, you were saying about the Clinton wedding, You have a position on that too, or?
I'm not sure what one needs to have a position on the Clinton wedding. She got married. It looked like a nice time, and congratulations to her and to the Clintons.
Oh, okay. Well, you said that's why you called. I wanted to give you a chance to address it. If you wanted to come out against the Clinton wedding, we certainly... I don't know what your opponent's position on it is, but... So where do you go from here? You're going to get all these endorsements from every group and union and out there? I mean, that's usually what all these people try to do.
I take the same position I took with your first question about Assemblywoman Skozafava. The more supporters I can get, the better. At the end of the day, the more people you have helping you spread your message and going door to door and selling what you stand for, the better. Am I going to spend my nights and weekends pandering to special interest after special interest? Absolutely not. That's specifically one of the things.
Well, what about things like the teachers union and the AFL-CIO and McDougall's what a group there, whatever it is, all those unions? If you're endorsed by all of them, is that good or bad, or does that send a message to other people? Because your district is not what you'd call a union district.
True. Although I'm not sure what defines a union and a non-union district. There are union workers, hardworking union people here in the 122nd district, including my brother, who's a union steward. I will be going to the Central Trades meeting tomorrow night because they invited me to attend, and I'll attend. To the extent any group invites me to attend, I try as best I can with my schedule to show up. I went to a large farmers meeting that I was invited to a week and a half ago up in Henderson to discuss the milk crisis. So, any group, union, non-union, business groups, farm groups, civic groups, to the extent they want to meet me and invite me to something, to the extent I can, I'm going to show up and show them who I am and tell them about what I want to do for the 122nd District in the North Country.
Now, what about this mosque in Manhattan, which, of course, got the go-ahead from one city agency this morning? A lot of controversy over it. Everybody's talking about it, even though it has nothing to do with the 122nd per se. But what do you think about it?
Well, listen, just as I support the Second Amendment and think that that's sacrosanct and that our gun rights should be honored and not infringed, I think the First Amendment, which protects our freedom of speech and freedom of religion, our right to worship as we choose, are also equally sacrosanct amendments. And to the extent they've complied with the zoning laws, which is my understanding they have, and they've gone through the proper channels, you have to respect our process, our Constitution. Now, is there a sensitivity there? Of course. We know who drove the planes into the Trade Center, and we know of what faith they were. But there are extremists in every religious faith and in non-denominations. And to take the wand and just brush the whole group is, I don't think that's what we should do. We should focus on who the bad actors are. And in this case, it was Al-Qaeda. And
well, just what the world needs: more tax-exempt property. That's what it'll end up, won't it?
Well, that's the case anytime a religious institution wants to acquire.
I think that's a bad idea that in state law that churches get this exemption or something from taxation, even though their property certainly demand services like everybody else.
Listen, that's been the process and the system we've lived under. We were founded as a
I know, but I want you to say something provocative so we can...
Well, I don't have anything provocative to say. I support the United States Constitution, which allows the freedom of religion and your right to express your religion to the extent it doesn't present a public safety concern. There's some case law out there on some Indian tribes and their opium use and not opium. I'm trying to think of what drug they smoke. And there's case law out there, and the courts reach a balancing act to the extent that there's not a risk to the public. Religious freedoms are protected under our Constitution as they should be.
Yeah, the man who invented cheese doodles has died at age 90. Do you have any reaction to that, or?
That's terrible. The cheese doodles are an important part of the American culture.
And certainly with the agricultural heritage of Lewis County, you want to mention that too.
Anything cheese related affects Lewis County. Lewis County is one of the state's largest dairy producing counties in the North Country. It's the second largest industry, and so everything dairy related is of course important, which is why I've been out going to these meetings with farmers and and co-ops and going actually to farms because they're just in such terrible condition right now. It's really sad.
Yeah. You think Jefferson County should buy that new phone system?
You know, I was listening to your discussion on it today, and I have to say I'm not the expert on the phone system in Jefferson County, so I'm going to defer to the wise legislature of Jefferson County to make the right decision there.
Now, when you say wise, you understand your opponent's a member of that.
He's one member.
Yeah. Are we to infer that you're calling him wise?
Listen, you know, I don't like to get into personalizing my opponent as wise, unwise. You know, he's put himself out there to serve the public, and I always think that's a good thing. And I think we should respect and honor people who step forward and choose to serve the public, because you know better than anyone else you're going to get attacked from left, right, center, upside down side. So I disagree with him on a lot of policies and think that I'm the right man for this job. And, you know, I'm going to make that case, but by the same token, I'm never going to put down his willingness to step forward. Just I, you know, would always respect your great public service and willingness to step forward, even though sometimes you get attacks and sometimes you're completely unwarranted. I respect public service.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, have you ever been arrested for boating while intoxicated?
I have not, and I'm not much of a boater. At my Boy Scout camp, I did learn how to sail the little sunfish, but that's the extent of my boating days. I actually get a little seasick, so I generally stay on land.
I was rescued by the Coast Guard once, but I was not drunk at the time, so I was just in...
Well, I'm glad they rescued you so you could take your dog to get its new collar yesterday.
Well, isn't it amazing that I can write a story about my dog getting a new collar, and more people probably read that than most of the mainstream media stuff that's been written today?
Well, you know, it just shows you how many dog lovers there are out there. My dog actually just got a new collar the week before the Lewis County Fair because she got in a fight with a skunk, and, well, regardless of whatever happens to the skunk, the dog always loses, or certainly the...
Well, you should have put out a press release on it.
Yeah, I think voters are more concerned right now about jobs. The economy is dismal. Our so-called recovery seems to be... you know, weak at...
I thought that's the recovery that the president of your party is touting, though. I mean, isn't it, or is everything now again President Bush's fault? How long is everything going to be President Bush's fault, incidentally?
No, listen, you know, you can trace back the roots of this economic crisis back to the Clinton years that were then spread through the Bush years, and, you know, now, you know, still haven't fully been righted by the Obama years. So I think you can say that the current economic crisis has blood on both parties' hands, so to speak. And it's not strictly speaking a partisan issue. And the more we stop, you know, pointing it as a partisan issue, the more time we'll have to focus on actually solving it and getting people back to work, which is what I'm certainly committed to doing, and finding ways to bring industries we have, like the farm industry, and try and bring you know, industries that can tie into the farm industry to boost the economy here in the North Country, and to try and, you know, stabilize milk prices, because it affects, you know, there's a multiplier effect of like 10 times, you know, of each farmer, and so to focus on those things rather than pointing fingers at, you know, where the blame initially started. Yeah.
Lindsay Lohan's out of jail. Charlie Sheen didn't get any time for beating up his wife. Do we have enough law and order in this country?
Well, I think, sadly, there is a double standard in the legal system. Far too often, the rich and famous you know, tend to fare much better than the poor, and that's an unfortunate part of our legal system right now. And, you know, I don't have all the solutions for that, and certainly in the Assembly, that's not my priority at this time, certainly, given the economy. But we do need to find a better way of evening the playing field, because you know, certainly Charlie Sheen is just as bad as, you know, someone who was pulled over in Watson last night for something, and, you know, one doesn't deserve any more punishment than the other. We need to try and even it out. But that's the system we live in right now.
Yeah, one last question. You